The private jet soared above the clouds like a floating palace. Its silver exterior glistened beneath the afternoon sun. Inside, the luxury was beyond imagination. The floors were crafted from rare polished wood. Soft cream-colored leather seats stretched throughout the cabin. Crystal lights sparkled gently overhead. A private dining area displayed fresh flowers imported from Europe. Every detail reflected wealth, power, and perfection. At the center of this flying palace sat Kang Min-jae. He was one of the most powerful men in Korea. His black suit was tailored to perfection. A luxury watch rested on his wrist. His sharp jawline, calm eyes, and commanding presence made everyone around him nervous. Even his security team avoided unnecessary conversation when he was deep in thought. But despite possessing wealth that could buy almost anything in the world, there was one thing Kang Min-jae had failed to recover: his wife. 3 years earlier, she had disappeared, without a goodbye, without a clue, without a single explanation. For 3 years, he had searched relentlessly. Private investigators, security agencies, international contacts. Nothing. It was as though she had vanished from the face of the earth. Min-jae stared out the window. 3 years, he whispered. His assistant lowered his head. Chairman Kang, perhaps it's time to move forward. Min-jae's eyes darkened. Move forward? The assistant immediately regretted speaking. Sir, I didn't mean. You think I can replace her? No, Chairman. No one replaces Amara. Silence filled the cabin. Amara, the woman who had transformed his life. The woman who had disappeared, carrying his heart with her. Meanwhile, in the rear section of the aircraft, a temporary flight attendant stood nervously near the service area. Her uniform was simple, elegant, professional. She kept her head lowered. She avoided eye contact. No one paid much attention to her. After all, the chairman rarely interacted with flight staff. But beneath that uniform was a secret capable of shaking Min-jae's entire world. Because that woman FD was Amara, his missing wife. The woman he had spent 3 years searching for. Her heart pounded violently. She never expected to find herself on his aircraft. Never. Not after everything that had happened. Not after the lies. Not after the danger. Not after the sacrifice she had made. She quietly pushed a service cart down the aisle. 1 step. 2 steps. 3 steps. Every movement felt heavier than the last. Then fate intervened. The jet suddenly hit turbulence. The cart shifted violently. A glass slipped. Amara instinctively reached for it. The glass crashed anyway. The sharp sound echoed throughout the cabin. Min-jae turned immediately. His eyes landed on her. Time stopped. Amara froze. Min-jae stared. The glass shattered across the floor. Neither of them moved. Neither of them breathed. For a moment, the entire world disappeared. 3 years. 3 painful years, and now they stood only a few feet apart. His voice barely escaped. Amara? She lowered her eyes. The security team looked confused. The assistant blinked repeatedly. Min-jae slowly rose from his seat. His hands trembled, something they had never done before. He walked closer, 1 step, then another. His eyes never left hers. Look at me. Amara remained silent. Look at me. Slowly she raised her head. The moment their eyes met, every doubt disappeared. It was her. It was truly her. Min-jae looked as though the ground had vanished beneath him. Amara. Tears filled her eyes. Hello, Min-jae. The entire cabin fell silent. The assistant's mouth dropped open. Security guards exchanged shocked glances. No one dared interrupt. Min-jae's voice hardened. Everyone leave. Within seconds, the cabin emptied. Only the 2 of them remained. 3 years of pain stood between them. Min-jae stared at her. Why? Amara looked away. Please don't. Don't what? Don't ask me that. His frustration exploded. 3 years. His voice echoed through the cabin. 3 years, Amara. Tears rolled down her cheeks. You disappeared. Silence. I searched every country I could think of. Silence. I nearly lost my mind. Silence. His voice cracked. And you're telling me not to ask why. Amara's shoulders trembled. I was protecting you. Min-jae frowned. Protecting me? Yes, from what? Her eyes filled with fear. The people who wanted your empire. Min-jae remained silent. Amara continued. The night before I disappeared, I overheard a meeting. His expression changed. A meeting? There was a plan. His jaw tightened. What plan? They wanted to destroy you. The air felt colder. Amara continued speaking carefully. They discovered I knew too much. Min Jae's face darkened. So you ran. I had no choice. You could have told me. They were watching me. You still could have told me. They threatened your life. Silence. The words struck him like a hammer. Amara wiped away tears. I thought if I disappeared, they would stop targeting you. Min Jae stared at her. 3 years? 3 years she had suffered alone. 3 years she had carried that burden. 3 years believing she was saving him. His anger slowly faded. Pain replaced it. You should have trusted me. Her voice trembled. I was afraid. For me, for us. Min Jae closed his eyes. The tension inside him finally broke. For years he imagined betrayal. For years he imagined abandonment. For years he imagined she simply stopped loving him. But the truth was far more heartbreaking. She had left because she loved him too much. Slowly he stepped forward. Amara held her breath. Min Jae reached out. His fingers gently touched her face. The same face he had dreamed about for 3 years. You look tired. A small laugh escaped through her tears. So do you. For the first time in years, Min Jae smiled. A genuine smile. The kind only she could create. But before another word could be spoken, the cabin door suddenly burst open. One of the security guards rushed inside. Chairman? Min Jae turned immediately. What is it? The guard looked alarmed. We have a problem. The atmosphere changed instantly. What happened? The guard swallowed hard. We intercepted a message. Min Jae narrowed his eyes. What message? The people who forced Madame Amara to disappear. The guard hesitated. They know she has been found. Silence. A dangerous silence. Min Jae slowly stood. The calm husband disappeared. The feared Mafia boss returned. His eyes became cold, calculated, unforgiving. He looked toward Amara. Did you hear that? She nodded nervously. Min Jae adjusted his suit. Then he spoke the words that made every guard straighten instantly. No one touches my wife. The entire security team answered together. Yes, Chairman. Min Jae looked out the jet window. The clouds stretched endlessly across the horizon. For 3 years he had searched for her. Now he had found her. And this time he wasn't letting her go. No matter who stood in his way, no matter how powerful they were, no matter what it cost. Because the war that began 3 years ago was finally about to end, and Kang Min Jae intended to win. The guard's warning hung heavily in the air. We intercepted a message. They know Madame Amara has been found. The cabin became silent. Amara's face lost color. Min Jae noticed immediately. He turned toward her. They're still afraid of what you know. Amara nodded slowly. They won't stop. Neither will I. The confidence in his voice was absolute. For 3 years, Kang Min Jae had searched the world for his wife. Now that she was standing in front of him again, nobody was taking her away. Nobody. The private jet continued cutting through the clouds as evening sunlight painted the sky gold and orange. The luxurious cabin glowed beneath crystal lighting. The atmosphere should have felt peaceful. Instead, it felt like the beginning of a war. Min Jae looked toward his chief of security. Prepare the mansion. Yes, Chairman, double the perimeter. Yes, Chairman, move the armored vehicles, immediately. The guard left. Amara stared at him. You really haven't changed. A faint smile appeared on his face. I've changed. How? I became colder after you left. Her eyes lowered. Guilt filled her expression. Min Jae noticed. He gently lifted her chin. Stop blaming yourself. I caused you pain. You saved my life. Tears returned to her eyes. For 3 years she had imagined this reunion. Anger, hatred, rejection. But not this. Never this. The aircraft finally began its descent toward Seoul. City lights glittered beneath the darkness like millions of diamonds. Luxury towers stretched toward the sky. Traffic moved like streams of light. The city looked beautiful, yet danger waited somewhere within it. Minutes later, the private jet landed. As the doors opened, dozens of luxury black vehicles waited nearby. Security personnel surrounded the area. Every movement was controlled, every entrance monitored. Amara stepped onto the staircase. The cool evening breeze touched her face. For a moment, she simply stood there. 3 years ago, she had left this city, believing she might never return. Now she was back, standing beside the man she never stopped loving. Min-jae noticed her hesitation. He offered his hand. "Come home." Amara looked at him. Then she placed her hand in his. The convoy departed immediately. Luxury SUVs surrounded Min-jae's armored limousine. The city passed outside the windows. Massive skyscrapers, exclusive hotels, luxury shopping districts. Everything looked familiar, yet so much had changed. After nearly 40 minutes they arrived. The gates opened automatically. Amara stared in disbelief. The estate looked even more magnificent than she remembered. Fountains danced beneath golden lights. Rare trees lined the entrance. The mansion itself looked like a palace. White stone walls, floor-to-ceiling windows, elegant balconies. Everything radiated wealth and prestige. "Min-jae," he smiled. "You remember it? I could never forget." The front doors opened. Staff members lined both sides. Many immediately recognized her. Several began crying. One elderly housekeeper stepped forward. "Madam," her voice shook. "You came back." Amara hugged the woman tightly. The housekeeper burst into tears. "We missed you. I missed all of you too." For the first time in years, the mansion felt alive again. Hours later, after dinner, Min-jae stood inside his private office. The room was enormous, dark wood shelves, rare artwork, a wall-sized city view. Several security monitors displayed live footage from around the estate. His chief of security entered. "We have confirmed something." Min-jae looked up. "What?" The organization that targeted Madame Amara never disappeared. His expression darkened. "Who leads them now?" The guard placed a file on the desk. Min-jae opened it. His eyes narrowed immediately. "No." The guard nodded. "Yes." Min-jae slowly leaned back. The name inside the file shocked him, because he knew the man, trusted him, worked with him, years ago. The betrayal cut deeper than expected. Meanwhile, upstairs, Amara stood alone on a balcony. Moonlight illuminated the gardens. The mansion seemed peaceful, yet her instincts screamed danger. Suddenly, a voice came from behind. "You should be sleeping." She turned. Min-jae approached, carrying 2 cups of tea. She accepted one. "Thank you." They stood quietly for several moments. Then Amafara spoke. "What happens now?" Min-jae looked toward the city. "Now?" "Yes." His eyes hardened. "Now I finish what should have ended 3 years ago." She immediately understood. "You found them." "I found enough." Concern appeared on her face. "Promise me something." "What?" "Don't let revenge consume you." Min-jae laughed softly. "You're asking a mafia boss not to seek revenge? I'm asking my husband." The words struck him deeply. My husband. 3 simple words, yet they carried 3 years of longing. 3 years of heartbreak, 3 years of hope. Min-jae stepped closer. "You still call me that." Amara smiled through tears. "You never stopped being my husband." He wrapped his arms around her. For a moment the world disappeared. No enemies, no danger, no conspiracies. Only them. The way it should have been. Unfortunately, peace never lasted long. The following morning, chaos erupted. One of the perimeter alarms activated. Security rushed into action. Vehicles surrounded the estate. Min-jae immediately moved Amara into a secure room. She looked frightened. "What's happening?" "We have visitors." His voice sounded dangerous. A security officer rushed inside. "Chairman, multiple vehicles approaching." "How many?" 8. Min-jae nodded. "They're finally showing themselves." The officer hesitated. "Chairman." "What?" "They're heavily armed." Min-jae smiled. "So are we." Outside, what's black vehicles stopped near the gates. Armed men exited. The tension escalated instantly. Security teams took positions. Weapons were prepared. Orders were issued. Inside the mansion, Amara watched through a monitor. Her heart pounded. She hated violence. Always had. Yet she knew Min-jae's world better than anyone. Some enemies only understood strength. The front gate exploded open. The attack had begun. Gunfire erupted. Security teams responded immediately. The estate transformed into a battlefield. Min-jae calmly adjusted his suit jacket. One guard looked nervous. Chairman, please remain inside. Min Jae looked at him. 3 years ago, I lost my wife. The guard remained silent. I won't lose her again. Then he walked forward, toward the danger, toward the war, toward the people responsible for destroying 3 years of their lives. Back inside the secure room, Amara watched him through the cameras. Fear filled her chest. But something else filled it too. Pride. Because beneath the feared reputation, beneath the wealth, beneath the power, Kang Min-jae was still the man she fell in love with. The man who crossed the world searching for her. The man who never gave up. And now, as the battle raged outside the mansion walls, both of them understood the same thing. Their separation had lasted 3 years. Their suffering had lasted 3 years. But tonight would decide whether their future lasted forever. 3 years ago, Kang Min-jae lost his wife, Amara, and with her disappearance came a hidden war no one spoke about. Subscribe to follow this story. Now she has returned. But so has the danger that forced her to vanish. The enemies who were silent for years have started moving again, and this time they are targeting both of them. As Min-jae brings her back into his world and soul, he realizes the truth. The war never ended. It was only waiting. Subscribe for what happens next. 6 months later, the morning sun reflected against the glass walls of Kang Min-jae's headquarters. The 80-story tower dominated the Seoul skyline. Luxury vehicles arrived one after another at the private entrance. Executives hurried through the lobby. Investors from different countries waited for meetings. The empire had never been stronger. Yet inside the top-floor office, Min-jae wasn't looking at financial reports. He wasn't thinking about business deals. He wasn't even paying attention to the board members waiting outside. Instead, he was staring at a photograph of Amara. His assistant sighed. Chairman, the board meeting started 10 minutes ago. Min-jae nodded. I know. Then why are you still standing here? A rare smile appeared on his face. Because my wife told me not to overwork. The assistant nearly laughed. The most feared businessman in Korea obeyed only one person, Amara. At that exact moment, his phone vibrated. A message appeared. Where are you? Min-jae immediately replied. Working. Several seconds later, another message arrived. Liar. He laughed. The assistant stared. Did you just laugh? Min-jae ignored him. Another message arrived. You promised lunch today. His eyes widened. Lunch. He completely forgot. Without warning, he stood. The assistant looked confused. Chairman? Cancels the meeting. What? Move it. Chairman, there are 50 executives waiting. Min-jae picked up his jacket. They can wait. The assistant stood frozen. You're leaving? My wife is waiting. And just like that, one of the most powerful men in Asia walked out of his own headquarters. 40 minutes later, a luxury black vehicle entered a private beachfront property. The ocean sparkled beneath the afternoon sun. Palm trees swayed gently in the breeze. The villa overlooked crystal blue water. It looked like something from a dream. Min-jae stepped out. Immediately he heard laughter. He followed the sound and stopped. Amara sat near the infinity pool wearing a flowing summer dress. The sunlight illuminated her face. For a moment he simply stared. Even after all these years, even after everything they endured. She still took his breath away. Amara noticed him. You remembered. Min-jae smiled. Barely. She laughed. The sound instantly made the day better. He sat beside her. For several minutes they simply enjoyed the peaceful atmosphere. No enemies, no danger, no conspiracies, just peace. Something they once thought impossible. Then Amara suddenly became quiet. Min-jae noticed immediately. What is it? She hesitated. His concern grew. Amara? She slowly placed a hand over his. I have something to tell you. His expression changed. What happened? Her eyes softened, relaxed. Then tell me. She took a deep breath. For some reason she looked nervous, very nervous. Min-jae became even more concerned. You're scaring me. A small smile appeared on her face. Then she finally spoke. I'm pregnant. Silence. Absolute silence. The ocean waves seemed to disappear. The breeze disappeared. Everything disappeared. Min-jae simply stared. You're what? Amara laughed. I'm pregnant. His brain stopped functioning. One of the most intelligent men in Korea suddenly forgot how words worked. Amara waved a hand in front of him. Min-jae? Nothing. Min-jae, still nothing. Then suddenly he stood. Chairman? His assistant wasn't even there. Yet somehow he looked like he was preparing for an emergency meeting. Amara burst into laughter. His eyes slowly filled with emotion. Really? She nodded. Really. For the first time in years, tears appeared in his eyes. Not from pain, not from loss, not from regret. From happiness, pure happiness. He knelt beside her, his hands trembled. The same way they trembled when he first found her on the jet. We're having a baby? Amara nodded again. We are. A laugh escaped him, then another, then another. Soon both of them were laughing, the kind of laughter that comes after surviving impossible storms. Min-jae gently placed a hand on her stomach. A future, a family, a new beginning, everything they lost, everything they suffered, everything they survived. It suddenly felt worth it. Amara smiled. What are you thinking? He looked toward the ocean, then back at her. I'm thinking life is strange. How? 3 years ago I thought I lost everything. She squeezed his hand. And now? Min-jae smiled. Now I think I found everything. The afternoon sun slowly descended toward the horizon. Golden light painted the sky. The ocean shimmered beautifully. And as they sat together watching the sunset, neither of them realized that the greatest chapter of their story was only beginning. Because this time, fate wasn't planning to separate them. This time, fate was preparing to give them something even more precious than the years they had lost. A future together. And for the first time in a very long time, that future looked brighter than any dream they had ever imagined. Before you go, what would you name Min-jae and Amara's baby? Drop your answer in the comments below. And if this story made you smile, laugh, or even tear up, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next chapter of their journey. Because their greatest adventure is only just beginning,